Welcome to Larry's Library, and welcome to another edition of the Sunday Scan. And I'm back to my read-through of Marvel's Godzilla from the late 70s. And what I have here is issue 21. And this cover, when I first looked at it, I thought, that's Al Milgrom. And so I'm on here, and I'm looking at this. I'm zooming in as much as I can. And I don't see any visible signatures, but it sure looks like Al Milgrom to me. In fact, to me, it looks like Al Milgrom pencils and inks. So I looked it up, and in a lot of databases, a couple of them I looked at, there's no cover credit at all. It's like they don't know, so they didn't even guess. And then in another one, which is usually pretty reliable for me, the one with Comic Base, they have Herb Trimpe as the cover artist, and they give no inker credit. This does not look at all like Herb Trimpe inking himself. So I'm thinking that this is Herb Trimpe inked by Al Milgrom. Or it could be Al Milgrom penciling and inking. And that database is just simply wrong. So if anybody out there has any idea about that, let me know in the comments. Because I'm not 100% on either one of those. I mean, I know for sure this is Al Milgrom inks. I'm going to say that. But I don't know whose pencils it is. I think it might be Al penciling it himself, but I was unable to find it in any info that made me 100% sure in any of the places I looked. So, but if you do, let me know, because I would love to know. So this one is a continuation, of course, of Godzilla being under the influence of Hank Pym's shrinking gas. And at this point, he's still in the museum in New York, and he is approximately 20 feet tall. Now, the splash page tells us this, I believe. Yeah, the Doom trip. It says, night at the museum, where the fabulous Fantastic Four have joined in a plan to subdue the 20-foot-tall Godzilla. One problem, the plan just backfired. And if you remember at the end of last issue, a couple or 3 weeks ago, whatever that was, issue 20, Ben Grimm had accidentally punched Godzilla, who was not even 20 feet tall at that point, and he landed in this tank of live sharks, this giant tank of live sharks. So now they're all worried about, what's going to happen here, and they're all trying to figure out how they can save Godzilla and or the sharks or both. And so finally Ben Grimm says, look, it's my fault, I'll fix it. So he jumps in the tank, and I'll scan this page. And he punches some sharks, and he basically slaps Godzilla and sort of shoves him out the top of the tank. And then Mr. Fantastic stretches himself over Godzilla's head while Godzilla's still trying to recover from all of this activity in the tank, get thrown out. And he basically suffocates him and causes him to pass out. So now we got an unconscious 20-foot-tall Godzilla. And they're all debating about what they're going to do about this and where they're going to take him. Reed says he has a plan. So they strap him to the bottom of the Fantastic Car. And I'll have to scan this page too, because it's a great shot of the approximately 20 feet tall Godzilla, unconscious, strapped to the bottom of the Fantastic Car. And they're flying across New York like this to the Baxter Building, where they dock on top. I always loved that Fantastic Car, this design. It's so weird, but I love it. And anyway, once we get in there, Reed is saying, I know what to do here. We're going to put him over here. And he announces to Dum Dum Dugan and everybody else what his plan is to use Dr. Doom's time machine, which the Fantastic Four have, captured from Doom, and it's set up there in one of their labs. Basically, it looks like a glass plate on the floor. And they hoist Godzilla up there. Another fantastic shot. I'm going to have to scan a lot of these pages so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. And so the plan is simply to send Godzilla back to the age, the natural age he should have came from. Back to dinosaur days, basically. And so they do. He sets the thing and zaps him. And then, man, I'm going to scan these pages too. So many scans. It's going to take a while to get this one done. But shows him traveling through time Pretty great visuals here by Herb Trimpe. And, you know, I got into this so fast I forgot to give you the credits. But we've still got Doug Minch writing, Herb Trimpe penciling, and great inks by Dan Green. Just good stuff. And he lands in this valley in the dinosaur days, as depicted by Marvel in the late 70s. So you actually have these human or human-like tribes existing with dinosaurs, which of course we know that is not what happened in real life now. And I think we kind of had an inkling of that in the late 70s too, but what are you going to do? This is that's the story we got here, so we're going to go with it. And there is a tribe of these lizard warriors that are the bad guys from the Devil Dinosaur comics by Jack Kirby. And we end up seeing, we get to see, and I remember reading this as a little kid and seeing these panels and loving it, because we get to see Herb Trimpe do his rendition of Jack Kirby's Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy. And it's fantastic. It's great. I mean, a lot of people try to do Jack Kirby creations, and it always rings hollow, and it just isn't the same. But man, Herb Trimpe was born to draw dinosaurs, really, just monsters. It's great. I mean, and I'll scan this page too. You get a shot of this one panel on page 17. Moon Boy's riding Devil Dinosaur off, and you've got a shot of them from the back. It's just great. Good stuff. So at first, you know, we've got the typical superhero trope, but even though these aren't superheroes, same trope, where your two characters have to fight. You know, they think they're enemies. And so you got Godzilla, who is still about 20 feet tall, fighting with Devil Dinosaur. And Devil Dinosaur never was as large as Godzilla. He's a T-Rex, essentially, but he's probably about, I don't know, 18 foot tall, maybe. And there's a cool battle where Devil Dinosaur, they end up in the water, and Devil Dinosaur's holding Godzilla under, trying to drown him, and Godzilla fakes it out, makes him think that he's goes limp, like he's unconscious, like he's dying. So that allows makes Devil Dinosaur loosen his grip. So then, surprise, Godzilla, you know, comes up out of the water, throws him off, and they're battling. It's awesome. And then you see that group of bad guys, that tribe of the lizard warriors, I think they're called that because they have some dinosaurs, smaller ones, that they've sort of trained and subverted to be their, like attack dogs almost, you know, and beasts of burden and whatnot. And anyway, Moon Boy convinces Devil Dinosaur to stop battling Godzilla, tells him, hey, you know, you got to team up because this horde, I mean, it's a huge amount of these lizard warriors are coming. And Godzilla at first is like, I'm not doing what this kid's saying. But then and I'll have to scan this page also, page 27. He sees Moon Boy, and it reminds him of Rob, his friend from the 20th century. So he agrees, basically, to help out against this tribe of lizard warriors. And then on the very last page, got a pretty cool shot of Devil Dinosaur and Godzilla about to square off against these hordes of lizard warriors and their little dinosaurs. They're sort of raptor-like creatures, it looks like, that are part of their tribe, I guess. And so it says next issue, the battle in the Valley of Flame, which the Valley of Flame is where Devil Dinosaur and Moon Boy live from the Devil Dinosaur comics. So yeah, it's a great crossover. It also mentions that Fantastic Four is going to be back for next issue as well. So yeah, one thing that I thought about is, I guess I've been watching too much of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I'm catching up on that series now. And one thing they didn't consider here is, okay, you're going to take Godzilla back to the time he was originally from, but he didn't have radioactive flame breath then. So how's that going to affect things? How's that going to affect the environment? And I guess they figured, well, what the hell? It's better than what we got now. We've got this Godzilla problem we can't deal with. So, you know, but would a creature like Godzilla with radioactive flame breath, would that possibly alter history? You know, if he had that back in those days? I don't know. Probably a me thing. No, why worry about something like that, right? But I doubt it will be addressed, but we will see in a couple of weeks when we get to issue 22. And there's only 24 of these. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends. I kind of read these, most of them, when I was young, but it's been ages, so I do not remember exactly how this series panned out. But I do believe it has an ending. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.